Hello everyone, my name is Bam, and today we are going to be analyzing the highest ranked support player, which is currently number 3 on the leaderboard. The reason we're doing this is because the last few times that I have analyzed the rank 1 player, they're always a DPS player, and I want to do some support. The video after this I will analyze the tank player as well. So let's get into it. So, this is a professional player. He is mainly known for Loki. So I imagine a lot of these games will see Loki. Oh, perfect. We have an MVP game right here. Plays Loki and Jeff in this game. I assume the Jeff is just for speed boost out of spawn. That's my guess. I've not watched this game, so we're going in blind. Okay, so start of this game, he is on Jeff, which is mainly just for the speed boost, as expected. And then he's going to place his clone, press F. Yeah. Also important to note the skin he has on. Everybody knows skins make you play better. Look good, play good. Okay, I'm about to go on a rant. Hold on. I'm curious what he places his second clone before I go on the rant. Yeah. Okay, so we have just started this game. We're not even 20 seconds in, and I'm already about to go on a tangent. This is stellar clone placement. So I think a lot of Loki players, they try to place clones places like maybe this top right. You know, this top right. You cover to this point. You can shoot down at them. Maybe they just put them in main because you're shooting down. All the bullets will hit the enemy team. They'll hit your team. Maybe you go up here. You do not want to do that pre-fight. This is just a general. Sometimes you can do it pre-fight, but generally speaking, you don't want to do that pre-fight. And the reason is it's easy to destroy because there's not much happening. Like Rush right here, the Bucky player, he's just going to destroy all the clones. Whereas if the clones are behind the wall like this, let's go to Rush's point of view real quick. If the clones are behind the wall, like he placed right there, he cannot see them. He can't see them from main. He would have to either do one of two things. He either has to walk up here and take this corner to shoot at them, which he really should not make it that far through your tank line and everything else. Or he would have to go up here, and even here, he can only shoot this one clone. Let me circle it. He can only shoot this clone right here. He can't see the other one. The other one's behind the wall. In order to destroy the other clone, he would have to walk all the way over. He still can't see it. And he can barely see it from here. So he has to be like right here to see this clone. And I know what you're thinking. You might be wondering, why is this clone good? It can't hit any of the people on point. Your team's on point. And I will show you that right now. The reason this clone is so good is because if your team is fighting on point, like this Magneto is, they are inevitably going to take damage. And when you take damage and when you start losing on this point, what happens is your team walks back. And if your team walks back to about right here, to these stairs, this clone can now heal him. So you get burst healing on the stairs, and then you can recontest point again. It's about a push and pull, because that's how team fights work. One team walks forward, the other team walks back. It's very rare you just sit in the middle and, you know, brawl each other 24/7. And I'm sure once his team gets more control over a point, because you see Psylocke over here, you see Sparker shooting at their thing is going to have to back up. The enemy team is going to have to back up first, and when you see the enemy team back up, I bet he places a clone somewhere around here, somewhere in the middle, probably behind this thing, though. And the reason he does that is because he can drop lamps. And this is also super important. I guess this rant's going to end up longer than I thought. When you are against a team comp like he's against right here, they cannot win the cooldown trade. And what do I mean by that? Rocket, his most important cooldown is the res beacon, right? Luna, it's shift. These are cool, but neither one of them are the same amount of sustain of lamps. And again, res beacon, you have to die to use it. Her shift, it's okay, but it depends on how your team is grouped up, obviously. Lamps are basically an immortality field. They are so good. And since he doesn't have to worry about the enemy support's cooldowns, he can use lamps early. And if the fight lasts long enough, he can probably use lamps the second time. That is huge. You can't do that in every matchup because, for example, Cloak, if she drops Bubble and then she uses E, that is an insane amount of sustain and healing. So what you have to do is you have to counter her sustain by dropping lamps, because otherwise your team is just going to get walked down. You have to try to match their sustain. This team comp, he does not have to match their sustain on Loki. There's no cooldown on their team he's really concerned about other than Mag Bubble, but that's his Magneto's job, to either hold his bubble or counter bubble or whatever. That's not necessarily on him. And this is also super important because I know a lot of lower rank players, they use abilities, right? They're like, okay, I want to use lamps to counter ultimates. I want to use lamps to counter this. You also have to keep in mind how to use your ability to counter enemy abilities. When you are team fighting, this is all a push and pull. Like, you guys are trading cooldowns. And you want to make sure you are getting the best of the cooldown trade. You want to make sure you're getting the best of the cooldown trade. If Magneto bubbles and you don't have to burn anything to get that bubble, you are winning the cooldown trade. You now have more resources than the enemy team. If Luna shifts and you don't have to use Luna shift, again, you're further ahead in the cooldown trade. And what ends up happening is if you keep having more resources than the enemy team, they will slowly bleed out. A lot of teams will end up just kind of like inting, like they'll kind of run it down. They'll just end up dying because they have less resources. They'll take a risk they can't afford to take, and they just die. That's what happens in lower ranks. In higher ranks, it's usually like a slow bleed out. You'll just see this team slowly losing the team fight over the course of like 30 seconds, and there's nothing they can really do about it because they're behind. And if that happens, if you ever end up behind where you're slowly bleeding out, you have to make a play. You have to take a risk to try to either force cooldowns or get a kill because you cannot play slowly. You're just going to lose. So, that little bit of a tangent before the point even unlocks, but hopefully it was educational. Yeah, I mean, and he also, just want to point out, he placed the clone exactly where I said he would, behind the box. This is pretty standard Loki gameplay. Keep it playing. Yeah, and next clone right here. Again, this is another one of these clones. I wish you placed it a little bit more to the right. I actually placed it like a little bit more right here. But this is another one of these clones where the enemy team is going to have to commit more to destroy it. Because if you just go main, if you go like stand right here. Yeah, see, you can see it a little bit. But if it were further in the corner, you wouldn't be able to see it. If it were like around right here. Like ideally, if you're Loki, you want to place the clone right about there. I think right here, he was just kind of in a rush because he wanted to get it out. In this way, if he has to drop lamps, he can, and you cover pretty much a majority of the point. As long as your team is trying to stand in lamps, they will stand in lamps. But just want to point that out. Good clone placement. Those little things are what separate, you know, the bad Loki players, the gold Loki players, the plat Loki players from somebody like this that is top 10 on the leaderboard. Just focus on healing right here. It's pretty standard gameplay. Drops lamps. Healing, healing, healing. Yeah, again, like, he can kind of use lamps more liberally because there's not a cooldown on the enemy team that has a crazy amount of sustain that he has to compete with. So he can just drop it early and then out-sustain them, and he'll get lamps back, and by the time his team is lower, and then, you know, re-up on the sustain. He popped ult as early as possible just to try to win the team fight convincingly. Yeah, I mean, Star-Lord can't really kill anything. Not with Luna ult up. Right here he's dealing damage, and the reason he's dealing damage is because Luna was in ult. There's no point to heal. Your Luna's in ult. Your Luna's going to be healing everybody up. Even if you tried to heal, you're not going to get like any ult charge because Luna's going to heal them faster than you can. So, in that case, if support ult's ever up, I seen this question asked on Reddit recently, actually. If support ult is ever up, you should always be dealing damage. Pretty much always. There might be a handful of exceptions where maybe somebody isn't in your support ult and you need to pocket them to keep them alive. But, generally speaking, you're always wanting to deal damage. Again, drops lamps. If his team plays this well, he'll probably drop lamps the second time this fight, if I had to guess. Oh, his team's dying. Yeah, he's not going to be able to drop lamps the second time. Because the thing's going to die right here. Because he can't heal him because he has to heal Luna. Dear Magneto. Where did Magneto throw that ult? I'm actually curious where Magneto threw that ult. He didn't throw it. Go back. Where did he? Okay, so he did pop ult for the Luna ult. He's looking around, looking around. What? Did he throw it at his own Star-Lord? Oh, he threw it at Psylocke? That was not even close to Psylocke. Okay, he's just trolling. This is to show you guys people make mistakes even in all ranks. I mean, we're in a top 10 lobby right here, and this guy's trolling Magneto ult like really bad. Another Star-Lord ult. Okay, I'm curious how he's going to read to contest this. I actually really hate this point. I think this point is so miserable. I don't think this map is the best for Loki either. Like, obviously it's playable. I think Loki's playable on every map, but I think this is a pretty unfun one to play him. See, now that the teamfight broke out, you could be more liberal with your clones. Like, now he could place one, you know, over here maybe, or up here, because the team can't look at those directions. They have to look at the thing punching them in the face. So when you want to take those more aggressive clone positions, it's when your team makes contact with the enemy team. Once your team makes contact like this, then it's like, okay, I have more room to start doing more cheeky things because the enemy team can't look up at it. The enemy team can't just walk into point and destroy the clones before the fight starts. That's kind of the mindset. Again, there are exceptions to everything. The game is not black and white. There's gray areas. Any rule, there is an exception to it. If somebody's ever talking in absolutes in regards to a game, I don't care if it's League of Legends, Overwatch, any fighting game, they are probably wrong. There's not many absolutes in games like these. The only absolutes are typically punishes, where like they do X and then you can do Y for guaranteed damage. Other than that, that does not really exist. And I think that's also why a lot of lower ranked players get stuck, is because they feel like they need to do something. A lot of support players feel like they always have to heal when that's not the case. There are a lot of times on support where it makes sense to deal damage. There are some times on support where it's honestly better to let your teammate die and deal damage, which is a hard concept for a lot of lower ranked players to grasp, especially because, you know, their team's going to flame them. Because a lot of teams down there, they don't understand what's happening. They don't understand how the game is going, and they just kind of feel it from their point of view. And if they die and they see a support behind them, they're going to be pretty upset. But I like this, going up to the high ground right away. His team's also going up here. Even if your team doesn't go... Whoa, that is a crazy portal. What? He lives? No, he doesn't. He's dead. He's for sure dead. That is a crazy portal. But as I was gonna say, let me here pause this real quick. So this is always a good spot to go with Loki, up on this high ground, because obviously you can shoot down at the entire point. You can heal your team here. What you can do also, you go high ground like this. You press your right click, drop a second clone there, and you put another clone in main right here. And the reason you do that is because all three of your clones can, well, I say all three of your clones, two of your clones, the two clones you have, and yourself can shoot down at point. You can heal your team. And if you do get pressured, if you do take damage up here, you don't have to drop lamps. You can actually just go to your clone in main. You can press F, go there, and you're pretty safe. You know, you got a health back in here. You have two walls for cover. You have this wall. You have that wall. And you can still heal your team. So it's just generally really good to go up there. Also, you can fight somebody up here if anybody does meet you up here. It's just like a really good spot in general. It's obviously better if your team goes up there with you. The enemy team just had a nice teleport. High ground in this game is king. Another good clone. Again, remember what I said earlier? Defensive clones. Defensive clones. That clone, pretty defensive. Because the thing's playing right here. The thing, if he wants to see it, like, he has to take this corner, and then he's vulnerable to all this space. All this space over here. Now, obviously, people can see that clone from main, and people will probably shoot at it from main. But It's still better than putting it like, you know, dead center. It's at a slight off angle. He's on the opposite side. But again, if you look, Psylocke's right there, Thing's right there, Star-Lord's going right there. None of them can see this clone without taking the corner and taking damage from his team. If the enemy team has to take damage to destroy your clone, that's a win. Right here, he's just kind of spamming down main. He does not want to shift. Yeah, I wouldn't want it either. Yeah, drop shift on main. He's going to match their Luna ult. There it is. Now he's just waiting because you want to wait as long as possible to ult because then you get longer defensive ult than them. Yeah. Huge ult from the Scarlet Witch. Pretty much an unlosable fight. I'm curious where he'll go right here. I assume he goes top left unless they push their spawn. They might push their spawn though because it's a high rank lobby. Yeah, they're pushing their spawn. Low ranks tend to not do this. They should though. You want to take a fight as early as possible, and the reason is if you take a fight early, you can typically get another fight. Like if they all die, for example, like at this door right here, the enemy team is going to walk back to point, and they might cap it, but even if they do cap it, you get a fight really early. Like, they'll only keep it for a couple %. Where if you guys fight on point and you get wiped and then they push your spawn, they're going to get way more %. But they're walking back here because they're losing the fight. How you can know they're losing the fight is cooldown trades, like I said earlier. If they use their resources and they don't have a significant advantage, they back up. Oh, Magneto might die. That's another thing, is low ranks don't know when to like back up like that, which is unfortunate. It's a good lamp, so that way nobody dies to the mag ult. Yeah, and like right here, clone placement doesn't matter. He can just spam down main because the fight broke out. He's so far in the back, he's never going to be affected by it. That is a awful Psylocke ult. Absolutely awful Psylocke ult. Wait, what happened here? Okay, they put up a teleporter. Something else. Small tip. When somebody sets up a teleporter, you don't have to jump through right away. You don't have to. Look, you can just drop a lamp in there, sit here, shoot at them. You don't have to jump through. You don't have to take that risk right away. So many people just blindly jump through the TP. Okay. Okay, so the enemy team has second defensive ult. They might lose this. It depends how he plays with lamps. This fight is kind of decided by Loki. Okay, good lamps. I mean, they're fighting this well. They have the advantage. They're about to have Thing ult. Right here they win, right? They for sure win right here. This favorite time. They're stunned. Drops Loki lamps. Not die. And then he has ult again. Yeah, this is unlosable. He's just going to take Luna ult, they pop ult, and then... Yeah, it's over. This is absolutely impossible. He played very fundamentally sound. He did not do anything fancy in this replay, and this like shows you don't need crazy tech. You don't need to memorize all these like spots for Loki. Just play fundamentally sound. That's it.
I am a true team player.
Like he just spammed down main for a majority of this because his team was fighting on point and he didn't feel the need to set up clones in weird off angles. The way his team was positioned, he could just spam down main.
They've almost got it.
You are restored.
I mean, is the enemy team going to contest? What's going on?
You have my full support.
I mean, they have to contest, right? Okay. They took their sweet time. It didn't even look like they were going to try.
We have a winner. I am ready to
I mean, she can't kill him. And he kills her, yeah. Tyler players, do not ult Loki unless you know he doesn't have lamps. Yeah, you'll never kill him, ever. Pay attention to lamps in general. Pay attention to cooldowns in general. Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I liked that game because he didn't do anything fancy, like I said. It was just super fundamentally sound. All right, and let's look at his stats real quick. How did he end this game? MVP, 16 and 2, 28 assists, 10,000 damage, 31,000 healing. Again, he did not do much that game, or it didn't feel like he was doing much, but he was definitely doing a lot. He almost had ult again, too. I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope you took something away from this. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. Be sure to subscribe. I post videos every single day, and I will see you guys next time.